Jae-hyun Park walked across the rocky landscape of Kepler 415b, his backpack heavy with research equipment and survival gear. The wind whistled through the rocky terrain, carrying dust and small pebbles that danced around his feet. As a graduate, student specializing in extraterrestrial archaeology, he had spent months preparing for this expedition, but nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. The planet was harsh and unforgiving. Massive rock formations created strange shadows that seemed to move and shift with each passing hour. Jae-hyun checked his portable scanner, tracking geological anomalies that might indicate ancient civilizations. Most researchers would have given up by now, but he was different. His passion for discovery burned brighter than the distant sun overhead. Suddenly, his scanner beeped. Not the usual low-frequency signal of rock formations, but something metallic and unexpected. Something was buried beneath the rocky ground. Jae-hyun's heart raced as he adjusted his equipment and moved carefully toward the signal. As he approached, he saw a glint of metal beneath a large rock formation. Part of a spacecraft was visible, its surface scarred and burned. Most people would have been terrified, but Jae-hyun felt a strange sense of excitement. This was why he became an archaeologist, to uncover mysteries that others might miss. Carefully, he moved around the massive rock, clearing dust and debris. The spacecraft was clearly not from Earth. Its design was unlike anything he had ever seen in his research. Curved lines, strange metallic alloys, and complex geometric patterns covered its surface. This was something truly alien. A small opening caught his attention. Something moved inside. Jae-hyun hesitated, his hand hovering near the emergency communication device on his belt. Protocol suggested he should call for backup, but something inside him said to act now. Pushing aside a damaged panel, he saw her. An alien woman, clearly injured, her skin a soft lavender color with intricate silver markings. She was breathing, but barely. Her clothing suggested she was someone important, perhaps royalty or a high-ranking official from her civilization. Jae-hyun knew he had seconds to act. His basic medical training kicked in. He pulled out his emergency medical kit, designed for extreme planetary conditions. The woman's breathing was shallow, and strange digital markings on her suit suggested she was losing vital energy. Without thinking, he connected his environmental suit's emergency oxygen to her system. Her eyes flickered. They were a deep emerald, green with vertical pupils. For a moment, they locked eyes. In that instant, Jae-hyun understood this was no ordinary rescue. The alien's hand moved slightly, revealing a small communication device. Complex symbols flickered across its surface. Jae-hyun recognized them as a language he had studied during his xenolinguistics courses. They were royal communication codes used by advanced spacefaring civilizations. He realized then that he wasn't just dealing with a random spacecraft crash. This was something much bigger. The woman was important, and her presence here was no accident. Using his survival training, Jae-hyun carefully stabilized her. He activated his emergency beacon, but knew help was hours away. The planet's harsh environment meant survival would depend on his skills and quick thinking. The alien woman drifted in and out of consciousness. Sometimes she would mumble in her native language, her voice a mix of clicks and melodic tones. Jae-hyun kept her warm, monitored her vital signs, and prepared for whatever might come next. As the planet's twin moons rose, casting a strange blue-green light across the landscape, Jae-hyun knew his life had changed forever. This was no longer just a research expedition. This was a moment that would alter the course of human-alien interactions. Little did he know, the woman he had rescued was more than just a survivor. She was a princess, and her rescue would set in motion events that would reshape multiple civilizations. But for now, in this moment, she was simply a life that needed saving, and Jae-hyun was the one who would save her. The wind continued to blow, carrying the secrets of the universe across the rocky terrain of Kepler 452b. The alien woman's eyes slowly opened, revealing deep emerald irises that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Jae-hyun watched carefully as she tried to move, wincing from her injuries. The universal translator on his wrist began to convert her soft, melodic mumbles into understandable language. "Water," she whispered, her voice a mixture of clicks and smooth tones. Jae-hyun carefully reached for his emergency hydration pack. The liquid was a special blend designed for extreme planetary conditions, capable of supporting multiple biological systems. He held it close to her lips, helping her drink slowly. Her name was Arya, she explained between weak breaths. She was running from something, a political conflict that threatened her entire royal lineage. The more she spoke, the more Jae-hyun realized this was no ordinary rescue mission. The planet's environment was brutal. Temperatures dropped dramatically at night, rising to scorching levels during the day. Their survival depended on Jae-hyun's quick thinking and Arya's advanced technological knowledge. Together, they created a makeshift shelter using pieces of her damaged spacecraft and his research equipment. Arya's injuries were complex. Her biological system was different from humans, requiring unique medical approaches. Jae-hyun used his limited medical training, combining it with the advanced healing technology from her survival suit. Small nanobots worked to repair her internal damage, creating a delicate dance of human skill and alien technology. Days passed. They began to understand each other. Arya explained her world, a complex civilization with intricate political systems that humans could barely comprehend. Her people had advanced technology beyond Earth's wildest imagination, yet they faced challenges that seemed surprisingly familiar. "Your species is young," she told Jae-hyun one evening, "but surprisingly adaptable." Jae-hyun learned that Arya was more than just a royal passenger. She was a key diplomatic figure, potentially carrying information that could prevent a massive interstellar conflict. Her crash was no accident. She had been deliberately targeted by political enemies. Their survival became a delicate dance of cooperation. Jae-hyun's archaeological skills helped them navigate the harsh terrain. Arya's advanced technology helped them avoid detection. They shared limited food, rationing supplies, and using her ship's emergency synthesizer to create basic nutrients. Communication was challenging. The universal translator worked intermittently, creating moments of both humor and frustration. Sometimes they communicated through gestures, sometimes through the complex language of survival. One night, during a particularly harsh storm, Arya shared more about her pursuit. Powerful political factions wanted to prevent her from reaching a critical diplomatic meeting. Her information could stop a war that would destroy multiple star systems. Jae-hyun realized he was no longer just a researcher. He had become something more, a protector, a potential bridge between two different civilizations. Their shelter was simple but effective. Made from pieces of her spacecraft and his research equipment, it protected them from the planet's harsh winds and extreme temperature changes. At night, they would take turns keeping watch, their survival depending on each other's vigilance. Arya's respect for Jae-hyun grew with each passing day. She saw in him a kind of courage different from her own people, a quiet, determined strength that didn't rely on advanced technology or royal privilege. "Humans are more complex than our records suggested," she told him one evening, watching the planet's twin moons rise. "You act with heart, not just logic." Jae-hyun smiled, understanding that this moment was more than just a rescue. It was a connection between two different worlds, two different ways of seeing the universe. As days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger. They were no longer just survivor and rescuer, but something more complex. A partnership forged in the most difficult of circumstances, crossing boundaries of species, culture, and understanding. The planet continued its harsh cycle of day and night, indifferent to the remarkable story of survival unfolding on its rocky surface. Jae-hyun and Arya remained focused, knowing that their next move could change everything. Their survival was just the beginning of a much larger story. The first warning came as a distant rumble across the rocky landscape. Jae-hyun's hand instinctively reached for the scanner, his fingers moving quickly across its surface. Arya tensed, her alien senses picking up something humans couldn't detect. "Pursuit ships," she whispered, her voice tight with fear. Jae-hyun had studied alien tracking technologies during his research, but nothing prepared him for the reality of being hunted. The ships would be scanning the planet's surface, using advanced detection systems that could penetrate rock, sand, and even underground structures. They had limited options. Arya's damaged communication device revealed fragments of a larger conflict, a civil war brewing in her home planetary system. The information she carried could prevent millions of deaths, but only if they survived. Using pieces of the crashed spacecraft, Jae-hyun created complex signal disruptors. He learned quickly that survival meant thinking beyond traditional human strategies. Arya guided him, showing how to mask their heat signatures and electronic traces. Their first close call came 3 days after detecting the pursuit ships. A small drone swept dangerously close to their hidden shelter. Jae-hyun held his breath, watching as the advanced machine moved back and forth, its scanning beams cutting through the rocky terrain. Arya's hand touched his, a gesture of both comfort and warning. Her alien biology allowed her to remain completely still, her breathing almost invisible. Jae-hyun learned to match her technique, understanding that movement could mean instant detection. The drone passed, but they both knew it was just the beginning. They began to move carefully, using the planet's complex geological formations as natural cover. Jae-hyun's archaeological training proved unexpectedly useful. He understood rock formations, knew how to read the landscape in ways that went beyond simple navigation. Arya revealed more about the conflict. Her royal family was caught in a complex political struggle. Powerful factions wanted to prevent her from reaching a critical diplomatic meeting. The information she carried could stop a war that would destroy multiple star systems. "If I don't reach the council," she explained one night, "millions will die." Their journey became a delicate game of survival and strategy. They moved during the planet's short nights, resting during intense daylight hours. Jae-hyun used his research equipment to create elaborate misdirection techniques, false heat signatures, scattered electronic traces, anything to throw off their pursuers. Arya's technology combined with his human creativity produced unexpected results. They created decoy signals, used natural rock formations to block scanning technologies, and moved with a precision that defied traditional tracking methods. One particularly dangerous moment came when a large pursuit ship dropped low, its scanning beams cutting through the rocky landscape like sharp knives. Jae-hyun and Arya pressed themselves against a massive rock formation, their breathing synchronized. "They will kill you too," Arya whispered, "because you helped me." Jae-hyun understood the risk. He was no longer just protecting an alien princess. He was challenging an entire political system, becoming something more than a simple researcher. Their communication became almost telepathic. A touch, a slight movement, a quick glance. They understood each other beyond words, beyond the limitations of the universal translator. Days turned into weeks. The pursuit continued, but something was changing. Jae-hyun was no longer just surviving. He was fighting for a cause larger than himself, larger than his research, larger than his understanding of the universe. Arya watched him with growing respect. This human was different. He didn't fight with advanced technology or royal privilege. He fought with something more powerful: determination and hope. As their second moon rose, casting strange shadows across the rocky landscape, they both knew the most dangerous part of their journey was yet to come. The pursuit ships continued their relentless search, cutting through the planet's atmosphere like sharp blades. But Jae-hyun and Arya had something the pursuit ships didn't understand. They had each other. And sometimes that was enough to change everything. The planet continued its silent witness to their remarkable journey of survival and connection. The royal spacecraft was unlike anything Jae-hyun had ever seen. Massive and shimmering, it hung in space like a living creature, its surfaces changing colors with each moment. Arya stood beside him, her injuries mostly healed, her royal status now fully visible. Thousands of alien beings filled the massive, central chamber. Their eyes were fixed on Jae-hyun, a simple human who had done something extraordinary. The royal guard stood in perfect formation, their ceremonial armor reflecting light in complex patterns. An elder stepped forward. His skin was deep blue with intricate silver markings that seemed to move and shift. When he spoke, the entire chamber went silent. "You have saved more than a princess," the elder announced. "You have saved our entire civilization." Jae-hyun felt uncomfortable. He was a researcher, not a hero. But the aliens saw something different. They saw a human who had risked everything for someone completely alien to his own world. The royal ceremony was complex. Strange music filled the chamber, sounds that seemed to vibrate through Jae-hyun's entire body. Arya translated the ancient ritual, explaining how rare such an honor was for an outsider. Diplomatic records would show that Jae-hyun's rescue prevented a massive civil war. The information Arya carried exposed corruption within the royal political system. His simple act of saving her had changed the course of an entire galactic civilization. The elder approached, carrying a strange device. It looked like a combination of technology and organic material, pulsing with a soft blue light. Arya nodded, encouraging Jae-hyun to accept. "This is more than a medal," she whispered. "This is a life connection." The device touched Jae-hyun's forehead. For a moment, everything went white. He could see fragments of memories, not just his own, but something larger. Generations of conflict, moments of hope. The complex history of an entire civilization. When he opened his eyes, everything had changed. The royal court offered him something unprecedented, official adoption into the royal lineage. He would receive diplomatic status, research funding, and protection. More than that, he would become a recognized member of their society. "Your actions represent the best of your species," the elder explained, compassion without expectation of reward. Jae-hyun's research career was transformed. No longer would he be a simple graduate student. He would become a bridge between human and alien civilizations, with resources beyond his wildest dreams. Arya stood beside him, no longer just a rescued princess, but now his official guardian and mentor. Their connection went beyond rescue. They had become something like family. The ceremony continued for hours. Strange rituals, complex musical performances, moments of profound silence, and sudden bursts of celebration. Jae-hyun watched, understanding that he was witnessing something few humans had ever seen. Representatives from 100 different planetary systems watched the ceremony. For them, this was more than an individual honor. This was a statement about possibility, about connection, about understanding that intelligence and compassion could exist beyond traditional boundaries. Jae-hyun's research equipment, the same, tools he had used to survive on the harsh planet, was displayed as historical artifacts. The universal translator, the medical kit, the survival gear. Each item told a story of human adaptability. As the ceremony concluded, Jae-hyun realized his life would never be the same. He was no longer just an observer of alien civilizations. He was now a participant, a recognized member of a society more complex and beautiful than he had ever imagined. Arya touched his hand, a gesture of connection and support. Around them, the royal chamber continued to shimmer and change, a living representation of the moment that would be remembered for generations. Through universe, it seemed, had other plans for a simple human student, and those plans were more remarkable than anything he could have ever imagined. 5 years had passed since Jae-hyun's unexpected rescue of Arya. The Royal Research Complex stretched across 3 connected planetary platforms, a marvel of engineering that defied human understanding. His life was no longer about simple archaeological research. He had become something more. The adoption ceremony had been more than a political gesture. It was a biological and cultural transformation. Jae-hyun now carried specialized genetic modifications that allowed him to work in multiple planetary environments. His body had been subtly adapted, giving him abilities far beyond ordinary human limitations. Every morning, he would meet with Arya in the central research chamber. Their relationship had evolved from rescuer and rescued to something closer to Family. She was his mentor, his guardian, and his closest friend. The universal translator was rarely needed now. They understood each other beyond words. His primary research focused on cross-species cultural preservation. Jae-hyun discovered ancient archaeological sites that connected multiple civilizations, revealing complex historical networks that most researchers had never imagined. Each discovery brought new understanding, new connections. The royal family treated him as one of their own. His human background was seen as a strength, not a limitation. They appreciated his unique perspective, the ability to see solutions that their own highly advanced civilization might miss. During one critical diplomatic mission, Jae-hyun's human adaptability saved an entire planetary negotiation. Where advanced, alien technology suggested complex solutions, he proposed a simple approach that resolved centuries of conflict. The Royal Council was impressed. Humans are more than you expected, Arya would often tell the senior researchers. They are not limited by their technological capabilities, but empowered by their imagination. His living quarters reflected his new status. Part research facility, part personal space, it combined human simplicity with alien technological sophistication. Holographic displays showed ongoing research projects. Advanced learning systems allowed him to communicate with multiple species simultaneously. The genetic modifications did more than enhance his physical capabilities. They connected him to a larger network of understanding. He could now perceive subtle communication patterns that were invisible to both humans and most alien species. Jae-hyun never forgot his roots. He maintained communication with his original research university, sending back discoveries that would revolutionize human understanding of extraterrestrial civilizations. His story became an inspiration for young researchers around the galaxy. Arya's royal family considered him a critical diplomatic asset. His ability to bridge understanding between different species was rare. Where traditional diplomats saw barriers, Jae-hyun saw opportunities for connection. One particular evening, looking out over the massive planetary research complex, he remembered the rocky terrain of Kepler 452b. That harsh planet where everything began, where a simple act of rescue had changed everything. His purpose was no longer just personal research. He had become a living bridge between civilizations. A connection point that represented hope, understanding, and the possibility of something greater than individual survival. The Royal Council regularly consulted him on complex interstellar challenges. His human perspective allowed him to see solutions that advanced alien technologies might overlook. He wasn't just an observer anymore. He was a participant in shaping galactic understanding. Genetic records would show his unique status. Not fully human, not fully alien, but something beautifully in between. A representation of what was possible when compassion crossed biological and cultural boundaries. Jae-hyun understood now that his rescue of Arya was more than a moment of survival. It was the beginning of something much larger, a connection that would change how civilizations understood each other. As the planet's 3 moons rose outside his research window, casting complex shadows across the technological landscape, Jae-hyun smiled. His life had become more than he could have ever imagined. From a simple student to a galactic bridge builder, his journey was just beginning. The universe, it seemed, had unexpected plans for those willing to look beyond their own limitations.